Typhon, or Typhonius as he's sometimes called, is born out of a time of chaos and primordial forces. Picture this. Gaia, the personification of Earth, is seething with rage against Zeus and the Olympian gods. Why? Because her other children, the Titans, were defeated and imprisoned in Tartarus, the deepest part of the underworld. Gaia, being the ultimate mother figure in Greek mythology, wasn't going to take this lying down. So, she decides to create a being so powerful that it could overthrow Zeus and restore her other children. Enter Tartarus, the darkest and most dreaded part of the underworld. Gaia mates with Tartarus, and from this union, Typhon is born. This isn't just any birth, it's the creation of a being that embodies chaos, destruction, and raw power. From his very inception, Typhon is destined to be the ultimate challenger to the gods' authority. Now, let's talk about what Typhon looks like. Trust me, you're going to need a strong imagination for this one. Typhon isn't just big. He's colossal, a giant among giants. Imagine a creature so enormous that his head brushes the stars. His upper body is humanoid, but that's where any resemblance to humans ends. From his shoulders, 100 snake-like heads sprout, each one capable of spewing fire and venom. These heads aren't just for show. They make sounds that can terrify even the bravest souls. Hissing, roaring, and even human-like cries. And that's just his upper body. Typhon's lower half is a writhing mass of serpentine coils. Think of a gigantic octopus, but instead of tentacles, he has snake bodies. His wings are so vast they can block out the sun, casting shadows that would make anyone shudder. His eyes flash fire, and his breath is like a furnace. This isn't a creature you'd want to meet in a dark alley, or anywhere, really. Hesiod, the ancient Greek poet, gives us one of the most detailed descriptions of Typhon in his work, Theogony. Here's a snippet to give you an idea. Strength was with his hands in all that he did, and the feet of the strong god were untiring. From his shoulders grew 100 heads of a snake, a fearful dragon, with dark, flickering tongues, and the heads of the terrible monster cried aloud with a voice that reached the stars. Chilling, right? Typhon's birth was like a ticking time bomb for the Olympian gods. Gaia, still fuming over the fate of her Titan children, sends Typhon to challenge Zeus and the Olympians. Imagine the scene. The earth shakes, the skies darken, and from the depths of the earth emerges Typhon, ready to wreak havoc. The gods, initially, were caught off guard, and who could blame them? This was no ordinary monster. This was Typhon, the embodiment of chaos itself. The gods, in a rare moment of sheer panic, fled to Egypt, transforming themselves into various animals to hide from Typhon's wrath. This event is often referred to as the Flight of the Gods. Picture mighty Zeus turning into a ram, Apollo into a crow, and Artemis into a cat. It's a moment that highlights the sheer terror Typhon instilled even in the most powerful beings. But Zeus, the king of the gods, wasn't about to let this monstrous threat go unanswered. Gathering his courage and rallying the other gods, Zeus prepared for a showdown of epic proportions. This wasn't just a battle for supremacy, it was a battle for the very fate of the world. Here we go. Brace yourself for one of the most epic battles in all of mythology. Zeus versus Typhon. Order versus chaos. The Olympian gods' last stand against the ultimate monster. This is where things get intense. In some versions of the myth, Typhon initially overpowers Zeus. Imagine the chaos. Typhon's 100 heads spitting fire, his massive hands hurling mountains, and his serpentine coils crushing everything in their path. Typhon even manages to strip Zeus of his most powerful weapon, the thunderbolt, and wounds him severely. He cuts the sinews from Zeus's hands and feet, rendering him helpless. Typhon then hides these sinews in a cave guarded by the monstrous dragoness Delphine. Things look pretty grim for the king of the gods. But this is Zeus we're talking about. With the help of Hermes, the god of trickery and travel, and Egipan, the goat god, Zeus's sinews are stolen back, and he regains his strength. Now, it's payback time. Zeus, armed with his thunderbolts and renewed vigor, goes on the offensive. The sky lights up with blinding flashes as Zeus hurls bolt after bolt at Typhon. The ground trembles under Typhon's rage, but Zeus is relentless. The battle rages across the heavens and the earth, with Typhon hurling entire mountains and Zeus responding with devastating lightning strikes. Imagine the spectacle: fire, lightning, and the earth itself shaking from the fury of their clash. In the end, Zeus's relentless assault proves too much for even the mighty Typhon. With a final, earth-shattering bolt, Zeus strikes Typhon down, trapping him beneath Mount Etna in Sicily. And here's a fun fact. According to myth, Typhon's fiery breath and thrashing still cause the volcanic eruptions and earthquakes in the region. So, next time you hear about an eruption, you can thank Typhon's eternal rage. But hold on, the story doesn't end with Typhon's defeat. Remember, Typhon is the father of all monsters, and his legacy lives on through his terrifying offspring. Together with his monstrous consort, Echidna, Typhon gave birth to some of the most fearsome creatures in Greek mythology. Let's meet the monstrous family. Cerberus, the three-headed dog that guards the entrance to the underworld. This isn't your typical pet. Cerberus ensures that the dead stay in and the living stay out. He's a nightmare for anyone trying to sneak into Hades' domain. Hydra, the multi-headed serpent that Hercules faced as one of his 12 labors. Here's the kicker: every time Hercules cut off one of its heads, 2 more would grow back in its place. Talk about a tough opponent. Chimera. This creature is a bizarre mix with the body of a lion, the head of a goat emerging from its back, and a serpent for a tail. It's a living, breathing symbol of chaos and terror. Sphinx. Known for her riddles, the Sphinx has the body of a lion, the wings of an eagle, and the face of a woman. She terrorized the city of Thebes until Oedipus came along and solved her riddle. Nemean lion. Another adversary of Hercules, this lion had an impenetrable hide. Hercules had to use his immense strength to strangle it to death in his first labor. Ladon, the dragon that guarded the golden apples in the garden of the Hesperides. Hercules had to defeat Ladon to complete one of his labors. Each of these creatures represents a unique challenge and terror, reflecting the chaotic nature of their father, Typhon. They're not just random monsters, they're embodiments of the primal forces of chaos that Typhon represents. Even after his defeat, Typhon's influence didn't wane. He became a symbol of chaos, natural disasters, and the untamed forces of nature. Think about it. Volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and storms were all attributed to Typhon's thrashing beneath Mount Etna. It's a way for ancient people to make sense of the chaotic and often terrifying natural world around them. Typhon's story also underscores a central theme in mythology: the eternal struggle between order and chaos. Zeus's victory over Typhon isn't just about brute strength. It's about restoring balance and order to a world threatened by uncontrollable chaos. It's a theme that resonates across cultures and ages, reminding us of the constant battle to maintain harmony in the face of disorder. In later mythology, Typhon's story continued to be a source of fascination. He was sometimes equated with other monstrous figures from different cultures, and his influence extended into Roman mythology as well. Typhon's tale has even made its way into modern popular culture, appearing in books, movies, and TV shows that draw on the rich tapestry of Greek mythology. So why does the story of Typhon continue to captivate us? Maybe it's the sheer scale of his power and the epic nature of his battle with Zeus. Maybe it's the way he embodies our deepest fears of chaos and destruction. Or maybe it's just the thrill of a good story.